Okay, thank you for, I mean, this is unusual, but we're trying to do our best to get everyone in and out. Before we start, I have our Representative Gray has 2 pages with him this week. One, okay. All right, so if you would introduce him, and I think he's back here. He's going to have to walk out.
Tyler, come out. So I have Tyler Adams paging with us this week from Park Crossing High School. Is there anything you want to say? Okay.
He is getting an eyeful today. So, Representative Witt, I think you have a page with you today.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I'm certainly proud to introduce my friend, Grayson Mitchell. Grayson is a junior at Athens High School, and today he is getting to see our government in work. So we certainly appreciate him being with us today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Ms. McElhann, if you'll call the next bill up.
House Bill 445 by Representative Witt.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, certainly thank you for allowing me an opportunity to come by today to discuss something that's very, very important to me, a project and an issue that I've been working on for at least 9 months, if not longer, but it has plagued our state much longer than that. HB 445. This legislation is an effort to place guardrails on a currently unregulated, unchecked, and dangerous industry, and that is the sale of psychoactive cannabinoid products, also known as Delta 8s, 9s, infused drinks, vape products, and other smokables. These products are currently being marketed all across our state in gas stations, in retail stores, grocery stores, and even being served on tap in local bars, restaurants, and as I've mentioned, there is zero regulation or ability to stop these products from protecting our citizens and then preying on our youth. These products just put profits above anything else. Let me just quickly tell you about the bill and what it does. This bill provides for the ABC regulation of all CBD products, prohibits the sale of CBD products or these cannabinoids to anyone under the age of 21, restricts these locations that the products can be sold, prohibits the sale for on-premise consumption, no more grass in a glass or anything of that nature at our restaurants and bars. No more slushies on Interstate 65 headed to the beach. We are here to shut that down. Limit the amount of THC to a 5 milligram per serving, and that means THC-infused watered beverages, THC-infused gummies, and if you look in the bill, these gummies will be individually wrapped, and they will be in child-proof containers. Prohibits the sale of inhalable products such as vapes, flowers, or the buds that we often see in convenience stores and other places across the state that are being sold. I'll hear from my notes. I carried in a law enforcement agent to one of these individual stores. It was full of these jars, and it all looked like dope to me. And he said, I asked him what his thoughts was, and he said I would shut the whole store down. I can't tell what the potency is of these flowers, these buds, and certainly if you're driving down the interstate and you get stopped by a police officer and you've got an ashtray full of this marijuana-looking stuff, what is the stop there? Requires all manufacturers to obtain a certificate of analysis on their product from a certified lab. ABC must approve this labeling, and no more of these products disguised as suckers, airheads, Doritos, brownies, and all these other things they put this product in to sell to our kids. Products, and then this provides stiff penalties for anyone that is trying to sell these products. Why is this important? Because this must be guardrails placed on this product. Guidelines established, since many have found loopholes in the 2018 hemp bill passed by the U.S. Congress. This, unfortunately, is unintended consequences, and it is simply the Wild West. In Alabama, poison control has experienced 1,423 exposure calls since 2022. 470 last year were 76% from product ingestion. That means gummies, edibles, etc. 16% required hospitalization and were in the ICU units. In 2023, Alabama Poison Control shockingly noted to me that over 40% of these calls now, please understand this, committee. If you don't hear anything, hear this. 40% of the calls were from children over or under the age of 6 that were overdosed. Kids under 6 can't drive. Something seldom mentioned in the connection between the products and is something that I've learned in this process is the correlation of sex trafficking and human trafficking. In Michigan, the county where Flint, Michigan is, they had the largest bust that they've had in human trafficking. When they were debriefing the young ladies that were taking in, and it was 20, 25, I think, something of that nature, how were they so subdued? They were given gummies. They were given suckers that was laced with this THC and these Delta 8, 9 products. It was largest at that time in the history of the state. It is past time that Alabama takes this issue up and pass substantial reform for this problem that has plagued our state, and it's only growing in size. I dare anyone in this committee or in this room that you can go to any service station within walking distance of our state house where we're at today, any convenience store, and possibly even a restaurant, and find these products. Let me give you some examples, because I'm a show and tell guy, as you've known me throughout my legislative career. I'm an evidence-based gentleman when I present you the facts. So in my process, I began looking at this, and this is a product that without doubt is being sold to our children. Now, Hulk Hogan told me as a child that I needed to do push-ups. Obviously, I didn't do many, but and vitamins, and take my vitamins. And now here he is selling gummies. Now, this is 100 milligram gummy with 1,000 milligrams per pack, bought legally at a convenience store. Okay. Second one. Now, understand these are 100. Okay, 150 milligrams, 50. So half of this serving is equal to a bottle of 80% vodka. A half a serving of this product is equal, per CDC, equal to 80% proof vodka bottle. And the comment says it is a strong euphoria. Again, half of this serving size. So then I travel over to another little gas station on my way down to Montgomery to see what I may be able to find, as you know, as I've done in the past. And then I run across this iced tea lemonade, which absolutely looks delicious. It's got a frog riding a bicycle. If you drink this, you'd probably feel like a frog driving a bicycle. This is the Cycling Frog Cannabis Company from Oregon. This not only has 50 milligrams of THC, but this is 50 milligrams of CBD. Again, nowhere on the label does it say this is for anyone over 21 years of age or anything. It said, get your head in the clouds. All your around with cycling frogs, delightfully sparkling THC iced tea lemonade. Serve ice cold and get high, and I'll leave that out. The most worrisome product that I saw was purchased in Shelby County. And this is, now it's got a warning label on it. This is a pack of gummies. It was legally purchased. No ID was given. It was a young lady, not my daughter, but it was a young lady that was purchased this and brought it. The serving suggestion, which we know that no one looks at on the back, the serving size of this gummy is 1/16. A nibble of this gummy is 1/16. So let's read the ingredients of a 1/16 nibble off this gummy. Again, no age, no requirements. Stores, these are marked up over 200%. We have hemp-derived Delta-8, 215 milligrams, which equates, if my math was right, you're looking at 17,200 milligrams in this 10-pack, in this pack here. So that should scare you to death. It scared me to death, and I thought it was a misprint. But not only do we have Delta-8, we have THCP, 20 milligrams, Delta-9, 12 milligrams, THCA, 3 milligrams. I don't know if I should have gloves holding this. I mean, this is bad stuff, and it's being sold to our kids. We all know, I have folders full of emails from parents, law enforcement, where we've had overdoses. You know, since I've been working on this within the last week or two, we've had individuals that have been med-flighted out of high schools because they've taken this. When you go to school and you buy a gummy, you have absolutely no idea what you're getting. This is not tested, and some of the tests that I have learned from my friends with Aaliyah, as they've tested them, has had as high as 24 THC, milligrams of THC, as I understand. So anyway, those are there. So those are my show and tell examples. 2024, the age group that most detected with the overdoses was ages 2 to 15, with 161 cases of overdoses in Alabama, and that was through October. 16 to age of 24 was the next with 40 cases. 22 overdoses in 2024 were under the age of 2. Someone that takes these cannot drive and operate a car. When you go to a convenience store and you see these ready-to-drinks, I'm sorry, they're not ready-to-drinks. Do not get them. But when these are ready to drink because these are on ice, okay? These were. But do not get those confused with the other drinks. But these are on ice. They're ready to be sold, and they're sold in bars across the state. In Birmingham, you can go online. I'm driving home from Montgomery, look up at a nice sign, billboard sign. It says, hey, buy your products here. We deliver. I said, you got to be kidding me. Rick's, let's call them. Chairman Reynolds and I called, and I said, hey, I'm having a party over here in Birmingham. Would you like to come over and bring us some of this stuff? Well, absolutely. We thought you'd never ask. And I said, well, how much is it? They said, go online and shop for it. And then put in your address, and we'll deliver it, and we'll all have a good time tonight. Well, thank you. And I hung up. We are coming for the bad actors that puts profit in the safety of our children. Convenience stores need to stick to selling gas and sodas, and they are not our local pharmacy stores. We are going to regulate these products. And like I said, I had a folder of emails, law enforcement calls, etc., and many news articles across the state. So these products we know plague our society. And I thank you for your time and listening to me on my House bill, trying to regulate and this is HB 445. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We have several that signed up, but what we're doing is choosing 5 on each side. On these, we'll have a 2-minute limit. And if you've been in here before, Michael Ann will have a clock on you, and she will cut you off in the middle of a sentence. So we have another one after this, so we're going to be here a while. But if you would call the first one, please, speaker.
Christine Carr.
Christine Carr. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. The piece of material that's being sent out is just from Miss Alabama Teen 2024, Allie Mims. She hoped to be here today to talk with you, but she has a lot of tests and projects to get finished, so that's what takes precedent. But she did want to share that this is a crisis, and we all see it as a public health crisis, but in our schools, students everywhere in Alabama cannot finish a day at school without being hassled by THC gummies, vapes, and drugs as early as 5th and 4th grade. It's happening in the bathrooms and in the classrooms in our Alabama schools. Now, my name's Christine Carr. I'm a nurse anesthetist with over 30 years of patient care. I've given lots of guest lectures in the biochemical field and specialize in anesthesia, trauma, intensive care, and also do a lot of drug prevention and medical advising for various groups. I want to say thank you, Andy Witt, for taking this on. This is extremely important, and I am about 75% on the support column. I think a lot of what Representative Witt is doing is fantastic in tackling this problem. There are a few key elements, and I would love for you to ask me questions if possible. I sent all of you an email this morning at 9 a.m. if you want to look up for the details. But there are key parts to this is that we have to deal with potency and dosage much more succinctly. 5 milligrams is a great start, but it can still be 100% THC if you're not looking out for potency. Legal hemp is less than 0.3% THC at dry harvest weight. This is part of this crazy loophole. Thank you, Congress, for giving us this problem. But we're not testing for THC levels at end product. If we want to continue to call this hemp, it should still be at 0.3% THC or less end product. I ask you to make an amendment to make sure we're not just testing at dry weight, we're testing at end product usage. Thank you, Representative Witt, for bringing up the issue of certificate of analysis. I've spoken also with the Department of Ag, and we need to have better testing and analysis. Thank you.
very
Carmelo
Questions?
Parcelletti.
Thank you. Yeah, just put them there and go ahead. All right, your time will wait. Now it starts.
All right. While we strongly oppose the misuse products by minors, we believe that the criminal penalty should be enforced for anyone who sells to those under 21. Selling to minors is absolutely unacceptable, and those responsible should face severe consequences. However, punishing adults who choose to use these products legally and responsibly should not be the answer. This is pushed under the false pretense of protecting children, yet this data simply does not support the hysteria. In 2023, Alabama Poison Control reported 235 Delta 8 cases, and these cases represent just 0.018% of Alabama's 1.3 million residents under 21. Most importantly, no deaths have occurred. Cannabinoids like Delta 8, CBD, CBG are non-lethal, non-addictive, and federally legal. Mr. Witt says plagued, but again, 0 deaths. We trust adults to make informed choices between alcohol and tobacco, substances that are proven to cause millions of deaths annually. Why can't we trust them to choose between alcohol and safer non-lethal hemp-derived cannabinoids? This unfairly targets federally legal products, punishes licensed hemp growers like myself and processors and retailers who have invested in Alabama's future, costing jobs and reducing economic impact. The arbitrary THC cap of 5 milligrams per serving for hemp-derived products, that's akin to telling someone they can have a small beer but no higher alcohol options, even if they prefer it. Just like some people prefer low alcohol beer or wine for a lighter experience, others may prefer stronger options like vodka or grain alcohol. Why should we treat hemp-derived products any differently when they're safer? Adults should have the freedom to choose what's right for them, whether it's a low-dose edible or a high-strength option, without arbitrary limits that don't make sense. There's no scientific or health-based reason to limit patients' choices to just one-size-fits-all dosage, and it highlights the disconnect between the constituents, the industry, and the representatives who are supposed to serve them. These kinds of arbitrary rules only serve to restrict access, stifle innovation, and confuse consumers who are seeking relief, not more red tape. We don't put profits over people. We have a cancer program and a Parkinson's program where we give products directly to these folks at no cost to them, and they have reported better standards of life. This would impact those Alabamians. It's disheartening that while neighboring Mississippi has a thriving medical cannabis program and running, Alabama still hasn't issued a single license.
Thank you.
Thank you. Becky Garrettson.
Good morning. I'm Becky Garrettson, the Executive Director for Eagle Forum of Alabama, and I want to begin by thanking Representative Witt for sponsoring this bill and for the efforts to regulate consumable hemp products in Alabama. The intent of this legislation is commendable as it seeks to address important issues like consumer safety, proper labeling, age restrictions. But however, we support the goals of HB445. We do have concerns about the workability of this. First off, and most importantly, this bill allows for the sale of psychoactive cannabinoids. Scientifically speaking, all psychoactive cannabinoids are marijuana. Non-psychoactive cannabinoids are hemp. So I picked up these hemp products on my way to the State House. Again, labeling who knows what's in there. These are hemp products, but they have been chemically altered and they contain psychoactive cannabinoids. I asked the cashier if these products would get me high, and I quote, she said, "Yes, they will definitely get you high." On page 3, lines 76 through 78, it's acknowledged that psychoactive cannabinoids are being sold in Alabama, yet the bill does not ban them. Psychoactive cannabinoids are in essence recreational marijuana, which is supposed to be illegal in Alabama. So I'm just going to make it short and say that the bill language is opening up Alabama to full recreational marijuana for adults or codifying what we're already seeing. Now, the bottom line is these products need to be banned. Hemp products that are not psychoactive are fine, but let's ban the others. And Representative Witt, I do really appreciate our talks offline. Hope you've been able to review and maybe implement some of our suggestions to make the bill stronger and help us move closer to more full support. But I thank all of you for really paying attention to this very important issue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Molly Cole.
Chair and members of the committee, my name is Molly Cole, and I represent the Alabama Hemp and Vape Association. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. We stand in opposition to HB 445, not because we oppose regulation, but because we oppose rushed legislation that fails to consider its full impact. This session alone, we've seen at least 7 hemp-related bills introduced, and that tells us that this is a complex issue, yet instead of a coordinated approach, we are seeing reactionary proposals that could devastate businesses and eliminate over 10,000 jobs in Alabama. Let me be clear, we fully support keeping children safe, but the goal that is best achieved through responsible regulation, clear labeling, product testing, and 21 age restrictions, just like we would require for alcohol. Meanwhile, pure grain alcohol remains readily available on store shelves. If the goal is consistency and public safety, then we must apply the same regulatory logic across industries. This bill would also push consumers across state lines, benefiting neighboring economies while crippling Alabama businesses. The enforcement challenges alone would give us a pause. Who will oversee this? At what cost? These questions remain unanswered, yet we are being asked to advance this bill anyway. Another major argument for stricter regulation is impaired driving, but I urge the committee to examine how this data is being collected. THC can remain in a person's system for up to 120 days. Meanwhile, a positive test does not confirm impairment. Using incomplete science as a justification for sweeping regulations is not only unfair, but also deeply flawed. So instead of rushing HB 445, I urge you to support a study commission. Bring together legislators, regulators, industry leaders, and public health experts to craft long-term, evidence-based policy. Other states have done this successfully, and Alabama can too. So let's get this right. I urge you to oppose HB 445 in its current form, and let's take a more thoughtful approach. Thank you.
Thank you.
Terry Long.
Hi. I'm very nervous. This is my first time being here.
That's
so
okay.
I apologize. Thank you, Representative Witt, for your dedication and work on this bill. There are aspects of, I have to put my glasses on. While there are aspects of your bill that I support, like removing these dangerous synthetic drugs from our gas stations, and I agree with other aspects, there are several aspects that I oppose and believe that more work needs to be done on this bill to help save lives. My family, I'm going to skip that part. We have been harmed by these products. And so my loved one was a victim of these drugs that are readily available, beautifully packaged, and enticing to our children and teens and young adults. These products are dangerous for anyone under the age of 25, specifically. My loved one will never be the same. He will be medicated on pharmaceutical drugs for the rest of his life, for my loved one's life. My loved one never had a mental disorder, a physical ailment, was physically fit, and an academic scholar. Just one high from these synthetic THC drugs can cause brain damage, psychosis, and lead and open the door to schizophrenia. That's what's scary about these drugs. Go look at Canada if you want to look at some data on THC. They just released this year a study where they looked at prior legalization, medical legalization. Their schizophrenia cases have tripled.
Thank you very much. We're sorry for what you had to go through.
Luke Garner.
Representatives, thank you for your time to speak today. I'm Luke Garner, COO and founder of Easy Hemp Co., a hemp beverage company operating legally under the current law. We serve thousands of Alabamians who are concerned about the proposed legislation limiting our products to 21 and up establishments. While we fully support keeping these products out of minors' hands, we also believe responsible regulation can coexist with our
If you would, yeah, there you go. Or raise it up.
with our continued business operations. Our agreements and solutions. Strict age verification. We support tough ID checks and propose a 3 strikes rule. Any business caught selling to minors loses its license. Transparency and testing. We back comprehensive testing and clear labeling for consumer safety. Consistency and safety is paramount. THC limits. We agree on reasonable THC content caps to promote responsible consumption. Additionally, ban on synthetics. We fully support banning synthetic cannabinoids like Delta 8. Who we are. Our products are in over 500 locations statewide, including Piggly Wiggly's, the Orion Amphitheater, Grand Bohemian Hotel of Mountain Brook, and various James Beard award-winning restaurants. Further, proving their appeal to discerning adults in respected venues. Our best customers? Women, 35 to 45, soccer moms, looking for a responsible alternative to alcohol. Our beverages contain only real fruit, mineral water, and hemp extract. No added sugar, artificial sweeteners, colors, or fake flavors. And furthermore, it's brewed by Straight Ale in Huntsville, a local product. The effects of our low-dose products are comparable to a small glass of wine or domestic beer. Mild and enjoyable, not excessive. Limiting sales to 21 and up establishments would slash our distribution and sales by 95%, threatening jobs in an industry-leading local business like ours. Our ask, we respectfully request an amendment allowing us to continue selling our products to adults 21 and older in grocery stores, restaurants, country clubs, and venues where our customers are already currently responsibly enjoying them.
Time.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Oh, no. Lieutenant Bradford.
Thank you for having me today. I'm going to try to make it simple. I'm on the law enforcement side. My name is Lieutenant Bradford. I'm with Trussville Police Department. Last year, we saw a severe increase of persons either overdosing or purchasing these products inside of the vape stores. We've made several arrests, several overdoses, and so we started investigating and started looking at the products that they're purchasing. We ourselves, my undercover narcotics officers, legally purchased out of 9 vape stores in our city, 12 products. Each product was sent to a DEA certified lab in Georgia, SJ Lab and Analytics. Not one of those products was under the 0.3% that the law allows for hemp. Anything above 0.3% is simple, it's marijuana. So we're legally allowing these people to sell marijuana. So out of all the stores we had, from 1% all the way up to 10.71% THC is what's being sold. And that's what these kids are buying, these adults are buying, overdosing, we're sending them to the hospital, yet there's no regulatory board, there's nobody overseeing this. And I'm thankful for Representative Witt to try to get the ABC board to take control of this, because our city is at the verge of taking control of it ourselves if we can't get anything going from the state. It's killing our kids. It's damaging our community. It's sending the wrong message. And basically we're allowing people to sell marijuana. If an officer pulls over somebody who leaves a vape store and he's got the flower bud sitting in his ashtray, he's going to jail for possession of marijuana. Because all it has to be is a green leafy-like substance. That's the arrestable, that's the probable cause to arrest somebody, okay? So in this situation, we're allowing these people to sell products that are not even labeled. I'll give you a great example.
Thank you very much for your service as well.
Mitch Hungerpiller.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished representatives and lawmakers, thank you for hearing us. My name is Mitch Hungerpiller. I'm a CPA, certified public accountant here in Alabama since 1995. I'm an entrepreneur and a businessman. I take this issue very seriously. I am invested in the low-dose, microdosed hemp products that, as Luke mentioned, are responsibly manufactured, responsibly tested, and responsibly delivered through distributors that are licensed by the Alcohol Beverage and Control Board. What we would like to ask and respectfully request is that this committee amend the proposed bill to allow us to continue selling our products responsibly to adults age 21 and to restaurants, country clubs, and venues. We even sell to a funeral home. Literally a funeral home, a florist. These are responsible venues. They have adults that use these. This is like a glass of champagne. It is like a light wine, 5 milligrams. Our product is 3 milligrams. Every pharmaceutical has milligram doses. What the problem is are the out-of-control packaging and high-dose products. Most of the states that have done regulation, there's about 8 to 10 that have done it in this class that is 2018 Farm Bill compliant, have put requirements for the labels, requirements for the certificates of analysis for the labs, and good manufacturing practices. That's what we ask. There are hundreds, thousands of customers in Alabama that do not want to drink alcohol. They have problems.
Thank you, sir.
Chris Einabet.
Hey, Mr. Chairman, committee members, thank you for having me. My name is Chris Inhabitant. I'm the director of the State Bureau of Investigations at ALEA. So thank you for having me. Talked to Representative Witt, and he wanted us to kind of bring forth maybe some issues that we've seen while we're looking into these complaints that we get from all across the state regarding these THC products. And we're hopeful that the legislature will take steps to control these THC products through effective legislation. So I can tell you, much like the Lieutenant mentioned earlier, for the last 26 years, I've been in law enforcement. And the enforcement of THC in Alabama was pretty straightforward. If a product contained THC, it was marijuana. Well, all that changed in 2018 with the U.S. Congress's hemp bill. So the percentage, the 0.3% of THC was basically deemed legal. Products that contained at least that much or less were legal. Meanwhile, over the last few years, these various products, which do look and smell most of the time like traditional marijuana, they popped up everywhere, all over the state, and it's prompted complaints and issues, not only from citizens, but other law enforcement agents saying, hey, Aaliyah, what are you doing about it? Well, it's kind of muddied the water of what we could or couldn't do, because it's not very, one, it's not regulated, and two, the law is not very plain of what we could do with it. So we've been looking at different scenarios, different avenues of how to tackle this. So historically, when we've submitted items of evidence for testing, it just comes back whether it contains THC or not. So that wasn't good enough, right, to satisfy the hemp bill. So we had to find a more qualitative analysis. So we talked to Tennessee Bureau of Investigations. They found a presumptive field testing piece of equipment. We purchased one. And so we went out and made some buys of these products, much like the representative did. And we got their publicly available certificate of analysis. Well, from that certificate of analysis compared to the testing that we've done, they're not congruent. So from the test that we've done with this device, it is way higher. The THC, total THC content is way higher than the 0.3%, 0.3% that's allowed.
Greg Davis.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I represent churches all over the state. Everywhere I go, meeting with our churches, some 3,500 of them, everywhere I go, I get asked about this issue. We can talk about all the issues that go on here that I'm here and get to follow and track, and always get the question, what about those products being sold in the convenience store around here? It's affecting our kids and adults in a major way. So I appreciate Representative Witt doing the hard work and standing out on this issue, because no one really has done it until this year. So we're very appreciative for that. And we share the same urgency on this issue. I know we all do. And it can be complicated. There's a lot of 0.3s, 0.5s, all this going around. It could be complicated. I think we can simplify, though, by skipping the guardrails, and let's just go to a stop sign on these products. Texas is doing this. These are synthetic intoxicants, and they're dangerous, even if you're 21 and above. There is a danger there. And if it's 21 and above, teenagers are still going to get these products in their hands. If they're sold in a retail situation, they're going to get them one way or another. We know that. So let's just put a stop to it. And I hate to see us become dependent on tax revenue from these harmful products. So I know there's a plan for revenue toward enforcement, also for treatment, for help for victims, if we went that route. And I just, the people I represent, they do the funerals, and they get the calls to go to the hospitals with families like hers. So it's urgent, it's serious, and they see it. And so while I appreciate all the efforts, and something's got to be done, I say a stop sign is what we need to do. We need to ban these products in the state of Alabama like other states are doing. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Is that it? All right, that concludes. Representative Witt, if you would come back up, and keep in mind, guys, we've got another one, so let's kind of keep it limited. Are there any questions? Representative Gray?
So I commend you for this bill, but I wonder what's the difference between this and alcohol? I mean, essentially, tobacco, alcohol is bad for you. It to some degree as well, but people consume it. So the age requirement, some of the restrictions make sense, but it seems like we're just moving too fast on some of these restrictions, where we understand that we don't want a 6-year-old or anyone of that nature to be able to consume these products, but
okay, so
someone 21 or older.
I'd be glad to answer that. I just showed you in my presentation there with my show and tell, if you took half of the gummy that I presented to you, that was a bottle of 80% vodka. That's the difference. If you put half a gummy in your mouth, that is almost like a full bottle of vodka. That is the difference.
So compared to alcohol, what is the death ratio? I
don't have the death ratio of that. Again, this has only been in operation, Representative Gray, that we've had to do as it's an expanding industry over the last 6 years since 2018. So what I'm trying to do is put up guardrails, but I'll be more than happy to share the emails and the voicemails that I've got, again, from concerned parents that have had individuals.
I would love to see the numbers, you know, as far as the deaths compared to alcohol and this product, and you know, because sometimes we can be a little hasty with things. I'm all for regulations. I'm all for 21 and older and all those things, but you know, some of the things that you're trying to do, I'm not.
That sounds like you're in favor of my bill, and I appreciate.
I'm not totally in favor. Some parts of it, right?
Okay, Representative Shiree, and then Representative DeBose.
Representative Witt, this product is basically recreational marijuana. Is that correct?
Yeah, in my opinion, it is, yes.
So we have not passed legislation to legalize marijuana. So this is an end run around the intent of our current laws. This industry last session lobbied for medical marijuana, stating that this is not a gateway to recreational marijuana, yet here we are selling it. Is that your...
They're selling it. That's correct.
Thank you for bringing this bill.
Representative DeBose.
Thank you, Representative Witt, for bringing this bill, and I've learned so much listening here to you today. The number of children under 6 and under 2 that were harmed by this drug is really alarming.
Yeah, and I just do want to clarify this. Here's the public health report, and I'll be more than happy to share it with the committee. These are real numbers.
Yeah, and so, but what's concerning to me is these children will still have. Those products were purchased by an adult and fed to the children, given to the children, or given to the victim. So, adults would still be able to purchase a version of this product, but they'd have to go to the
21 and over store. That's correct.
Yeah. So adults could still continue to purchase them, and minors under that age would still continue to be harmed if adult purchase them, just like they have in the past.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's no different if you could get mom's Oxycontin bills.
Yeah. So as long as it's available,
so anyway, that's it. So that's the way I look at it. But understand, I am putting a cap of 5 milligrams on the product. So and they're individually wrapped.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm trying to say. You're saying 5 milligrams, but right now we're saying 0.3 is the legal marijuana limit. So we're going from 0.3 to 5.
No, we're not going up at all. This is the 5 milligram.
But I mean, you're limiting it at 5 when 0.3 is the legal level of marijuana. So that's
correct.
That's big. Okay, and then
again, not of our doing.
Okay, so this is just what I'm trying to understand. We understand that there is harm to these psychoactive.
Sure.
That's what we call that portion of it, the portion of the CHC. So why are we selling these at all anywhere, and not just limiting to hemp only? Why are we selling?
Why are we selling?
Yeah, why would we want to sell that, even with a 5 milligram level?
I don't want to sell any of it.
Yeah.
Okay. That would be all right with me. But the problem is with the federal law as it stands, and as I understand it, that this is the minimum that we have. I work with the Department of Health. I work with ALEA and also the ABC, and this is the bill that we came up with, that there is.
So we can't just put a ban to the.
I just talked with a sponsor in the Senate earlier this morning, and they told me their bill wasn't going anywhere.
Representative Paul.
I want to say first, thank you. Over the years, I've carried a bill just dealing with drug paraphernalia that is sold at our convenience stores. I was amazed at the pushback.
Yeah.
I mean, the people come out of the woodwork on the issue, and they say it's either the fine is too high. There are a number of things, and much of this that you've talked about deals with paraphernalia that's presented, and many of these service stations are within walking distance of our schools. And so I want to say thank you. Certainly, I have not gone through the bill to the degree that I totally understand that process. But the other thing that I want to also mention is TH8, Delta 8.
Delta 8.
Every year, there's a new name, a new product. So we will continue to come back and make a science
This
change.
bill will cover that moving forward.
All right, thank you.
Representative Mooney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think it goes without saying everyone knows where my position is about any of these things. Ban them, flat out ban them. But I do want to point out an experience of working with the head of our commander of our multi-jurisdictional task force in Shelby County in relation to drugs and things of that nature, Clay Hammock. He's the chief deputy in our county. I reached out to him to just find out what a trusted person in my county thought about it who served in law enforcement. And the thing that I guess I would like to share with everybody is a statement that he gave me just this morning. He said, "This is nothing more than profit at the expense of public health and safety, and plainly put, getting high." Clearly, from what you have said, and I commend you for bringing the bill, but clearly from what you've said, adults are getting high on this. Adults drive cars. Adults driving cars have wrecks. Cars having wrecks kill children. Children who get a hold of things are damaged in the way this lady's family was damaged. We're facing a situation, I can't but help but ask the question, why would we not just ban the whole thing? And I guess that's my question to you, and in a way it's a plea, that we have so many people being damaged who are adults. DUIs, about 50% of them we heard this week were the result of non-alcoholic DUIs. So we know where those are coming from. So I just share it in that way.
Representative Rigsby, and this will wind up the public hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Representative Witt, for bringing this. Just 2 points. As a pharmacist, I start looking at some of these terminologies and things like the synthetic THC products and cannabinoids. Those are Schedule I narcotics. People don't realize that. And so pharmacies aren't allowed to sell those things. There is a loophole because of the Farm Bill where pharmacies can sell CBD hemp-derived products that contain the less than 0.3%. But we have to have certified analysis of those products. If we get inspected by the state board, we have to have those on file to prove what we're selling meets these requirements. My question, though, second part of that question is, when you define your beverage or edible 5 milligrams of total THC, can that come from hemp and synthetic, or is that only naturally derived hemp?
I'll need to defer to my health experts, wherever they were at in the room. I think it said synthetic as well.
So it can be either.
Like you did.
It can be either or.
Either or.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that, if I'm not mistaken on that, it had that. 2 things before I leave, and Mr. Chairman, I want you to, committee members, listen to what I heard today. Money and health. Money and health. And I think that's where we're at with this bill, and that's what's held these bills up in the past, and I think it's time that we do this. ABC has the ability to take on the additional responsibility. They'll be visiting the 21 and older stores. And then with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions later.
We're going to wind it down on this one. Thank everyone that could. I'm sorry, we should have known that before. I mean, if y'all would have let us know, we'd have made sure. Well, okay, but not today. All right, everyone, as you exit out the door to go out this door, the others will come in.
Exit to the left over here, please.
Oh, I got to stand.
Thank you.
You already done it? Have you already saved the seat? That's right.
Are you okay? You good? You good? Hey, you only need one more? Yeah, I'm gonna say these two. Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, cool. So. You need to go ahead and find a seat, please. Go ahead and find a seat. Hey, man. Good to see you. Here you go. Yeah. Well, you can sit. Y'all can sit in the middle.
Are you saying you don't know this bill well enough yet that you know?
No.
Start out. You just make it more dangerous.
Sir. Hey, I've been around you and them so much. I want you to sit.
No, you didn't ask me to sit here.
No, I took. Hey, Dane, I just meant right there.
Well, you think by now you know it all. You wouldn't need to do it.
That's right. Yeah, you can. That's fine.